Hi guys, so this is a tutorial on how to draw simple water drops using a pencil. So these are the materials I've used. You can use these or something very similar. I will have a list of the materials I've used in the description of this video. So to start, I've just been shading the background of the paper in using a 5B pencil. I've gone over it a few times and I'll keep going over it until I get to the shade I want, and I'm blending this in with a piece of tissue paper. Okay, so now I can get started. I'm going to draw two circles because I'm doing two water bubbles or water droplets. I'm going to draw two circles or erase two circles using my mono eraser. You don't have to worry about being too accurate at the moment, as long as they're, roughly circles, that'll be good. And the idea is to just get two white circles on your paper. Now, during this whole process, if you use light strokes with the pencil, and then it just builds the layers, and when you want it to get darker you can just press a little bit harder with your strokes. But the thing is, it's all about building the layers. If you do go wrong and you've been using light pressure, then it's a little bit easier to correct any mistakes because you're not having to rub out harsh lines. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my mechanical pencil. It's a 2B lead in this. I use this only because I'm used to using it. You can use any 2B pencil, just keep it sharp. It's much easier when they're sharp. And I'm just going to very lightly draw the outline of the droplet. So here is where you want to be a little bit more careful to try and get a circle. But again, using light strokes, and just build the layers up. And now if you look, I'm starting to create a shadow. So you want the light to come from one side, so even a water droplet will create a shadow. Don't be afraid to go too dark, certainly on the edges. This creates the definition of the water droplet and gives you more of a 3D effect. Just bringing in the other side as well, and then coming over the droplet just to bring in the shading. Here I'm going to leave a little gap where I want to have a highlight, so this will be a reflection of the light, and again this will help really bring in the 3D effect. Using really light pressure here, just going over and over. So now, using the blending stump, I'm going to start blending the pencil that I've just shaded in. When you want to try and make things look as realistic as possible, most of the time you're actually using blending stumps and erasers. I'd say probably 60 to 70% of drawing something that looks realistic is actually erasing what you put down and blending the rest. So I'm blending in the shadows here. This is the shadow that's falling through the water droplet, and I'm blending in the dark area on the front of the water droplets too. Okay, so now I'm bringing in a darker, softer 5B pencil. This is just to darken the bottom areas and the bits that I want to have the darkest. Never be afraid to go too dark. People are always a little bit afraid of black lines and darkness. But the only thing I will say with water droplets is obviously nothing wants to be too harsh. So although you do need some edges, you don't want anything to be too harsh. But if you can just lightly go over, especially around the very edge of the water droplet, you can always blend it in after. Okay, then I'm using my mono eraser to just mark out the highlights that I want, the reflections of the light. And now I'm going to use my Uni Posca white pencil. Some people use gel pens. Uni Posca white pen. You can use correction fluid, Tipex. I've even used white colouring pencils or white chalk pencils. And I always like to slightly go around the edges with a blending stump just to blend those in a bit. Depends on the picture, but I think that can have a good effect. You don't have to use a pen like this, but it just helps. And so there you go, 2 water droplets. You can draw these using just 2 pencils, an eraser and a gel pen and some blending stumps. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've been able to follow along and perhaps produce something similar or even better. If you want to see more videos, I will be producing more, and I'll have more in-depth videos on all sorts of drawing as time goes on. Thanks very much.